Here's a fun one. So how much time did you just have to spend gathering W9s from your clients' vendors in order to get their 1099s done? And I'm sort of putting that in the context of the accounting or bookkeeping professional who's charged with having to do that. Of course, if you're a business owner and you did it for yourself, you can share the pain, you can share the struggle with us. But I have a solution. Here's how you can create a sheet in Smartsheet to capture the same information and, of course, get them to upload the form. But first, let's take a look. Let's do a Google search for form W9, right? So W9 is the form we need to have people fill out to capture the information we need in order to issue a 1099 to somebody who is paid as a subcontractor, who is paid non-employee compensation, right? So let's start with the information here, and we're going to work our way down and create a Smartsheet sheet in order to capture this information. And then I'll show you how we're going to then turn it into a web form where we're going to require the file upload as well. And this serves two purposes. We could keep it simple and just do a file upload, but the difference here is a lot of times that file upload is going to contain the handwritten form that they scan that's impossible to read. So I like to have them type it for me so I know I can read it for sure, and then I still have the signed document for the records, right? And I even have it lined. Well, anyway, you get the idea. So let's create a blank sheet, and we'll call it W9 Capture. And I'll say OK. And the reality is you can actually do this and create just one for all of your clients. You might even actually have them, create a field where they can indicate who they were paid by, who the payer is that they're uploading this for. So the first one's going to be name, right? The person's name, right? That's the first thing on the form is their name. Business name, disregarded entity, if different from above. So we'll just say business name, if different, right? So double click, business name, and this is going to be the type of text, if different. So we're going to leave it as the type text. What's next? So check appropriate box. So this is fun. This is why I love Smartsheet. All right, so we need some check boxes here, right? So we'll do, the checkbox would be if this whole thing was just one checkbox. We need a drop-down list here. And let's see what our choices are. We have, let's do this. I'm going to try and copy and paste all this. And watch this. This is why I love Microsoft Notepad, because it just strips any formatting out of anything, right? Because it just doesn't take it. So individual sole proprietor. And then I just need to get this into the list. Single member LLC, C corporation, S corporation, partnership, trust or estate, and limited liability company, enter tax classification, all that good stuff. So limited liability company, and we'll get rid of that because that's going to need to be a separate field. So now let's take these, get rid of that period, Control C, Control V. Now I've got my drop down list. How cool is that? And what are we calling this? The federal tax classification. So we'll say choose one. Fed tax class. Choose one. So now we have it in a nice little drop-down list, and that's going to look cool on the web form too. So next we need to deal with the other part of this. So if you chose limited liability company, enter the tax classification. So we need another drop-down list. So if LLC, choose one. And we need another drop-down list. And it's going to be, let's use Notepad again. So we have C equals C Corp, S equals S Corp, P equals partnership. Get rid of that punctuation. Copy that. Over to Smartsheet, paste that in. What's next? The address. Number, street, and apartment or suite number. So let's do that. city, state, and zip. And you know what? I want to break these up, actually, because if I'm copying and pasting these, say, into like a track1099.com kind of thing, then I want them separate. So we're going to need a few more columns here for sure. Okay, so this will be city. Insert column to the right, state. And I'm just right-clicking, by the way, to get that dialog to pop up. And zip. Oops. Back to the W9 form. City, state, zip. List account numbers here, optional. That's where we want the indicate the payer. So another one to the right. Payer. Who paid you? And you don't want to put a drop-down list there because then you're kind of listing all your clients, right? So you don't want to do that. And then we have one more thing left, Social Security or employer identification number. And I'm going to use a single column because it's going to be one or the other, right? So SSN/EIN. And we click OK. And I'll hit save. Now we're ready to create the web form. So down here at the bottom, we're going to click Web Forms, and we've laid it out really so that this is going to take like just a minute. It's all really here. So instead of calling this W9 Capture, we'll just say W9 Submission. W9 Capture just sounds weird. And then in the description, so if I'm doing this for myself, is because remember the context here is I'm the accountant, I have a client, and this is for the client's vendor who's submitting the W9, so I have it for my client, right? So I just want to write some quick language that explains that, hey, it looks if you're here, you probably did some subcontracted work for one of my clients. Please fill out this form and attach a copy of your signed W9. All right, so that way that's going to come up in the description. So we have everything laid out. Notice it just grabs the information from the columns, but we need to add the file upload. So add field file upload. And it can be a little picky sometimes about letting you kind of space it, especially when you want it at the bottom. And then the file upload is going to be a required field, as is, well, not everything else, but we certainly need to make the name required. So now we're going to click through field by field and choose the options, right? So required field for the name, business name if different. We can't require that because it might not be different, right? Then the federal tax class is which piece again. So that's like these check boxes. So that's definitely required. And then this can't be required because it may not be an LLC, right? And it was for the LLC, right? Limited liability company, sure thing. Address, required. City, required. State, required. Zip, required. Payer, required. And again, we could put some additional instructions on this. So help text, this is the company who will be issuing you the 1099. So just to make that clear. And then this is required. So one thing I would love to see Smartsheet add is the ability to sort of validate the data so I can require it be in a certain format. Like I'd love to be able to require that this be the 10 digits that it would need to be. But that's it. So now let's save. And then Smartsheet gives you this URL, which will take you to the form. This is the URL you're going to want to provide people with. So let's see what that looks like. So you always want to review this and see what it's going to look like from the user standpoint. So they're going to add to the name, the business name, the tax class, right? If an LLC, they're going to choose one. Come on, how cool is this? And now, going forward, when next time you have to get a W-9 from somebody, you just have them submit it here, and it's going to come into this beautiful spreadsheet. Like, let's do well, I'm not going to do one because then I have to come up with like a dummy social security number. But you get the point. And as always, if you have any questions at all for how to do this or need any help, please the easiest thing to do is go to SethDavid.com, because that's kind of like the center of my universe these days. And from there, you can find anything you need. So the best way to get help with something like this is sign up at schoolofanswers.com for a one-on-one session, and I can help you create this form for yourself, and we can go into even how to get it embedded in your website. So that's the coolest thing, is then you can say to your clients' vendors, hey, just go to this web page and fill out the form and upload your W-9. And then what you can do is, in the same place, you can actually include a link to download the W-9 form that they've got to fill out before they can fill it out and submit it. So, my friends, that's actually a really good idea. I'm going to do that. So, my friends, I hope you learned something here and had some fun along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.